Can you believe it? The technologies that make life easier hide deadly threats. Can you believe it? The technologies that make our lives more convenient are actually hiding deadly threats. Familiar innovations like AI and radio frequency identification (RFID) have been misused to become globally banned black technologies. How did they devolve from benefiting humanity to being taboo? And what shocking hazards lie beneath their surface? Today, we're taking a deep dive to uncover the truth behind technology's double-edged sword. Beyond AI, RFID technology is a classic example of such duality. For those who don't know, this is the tech powering our transit cards, access badges, supermarket product traceability systems, and logistics management. It enables contactless data transmission for device interaction, truly streamlining daily life and boosting social operational efficiency. Yet this well-intentioned technology has been exploited by criminals to create RFID card skimmers. Most alarmingly, these devices can capture and copy card data without physical contact, enabling unauthorized transactions. According to public cybersecurity case records, several suspected RFID skimming incidents occurred on the Paris metro in 2018. Perpetrators disguised skimmers as ordinary pens. Merely holding them near a passenger's pocket for 30 seconds was enough to clone transit card information and deduct fares remotely. Imagine riding the metro, only to find your card has been silently drained of funds. It's not just a financial loss. It's a terrifying violation of personal security. You might be wondering, are only these everyday technologies risky? Absolutely not. The evolution of laser technology offers an even clearer illustration of technology's dual nature. In its early days, lasers were exclusively used for legitimate cutting-edge applications, precision measurement, medical surgery, astronomical observation, and more. Laser-assisted retinal repair has restored sight to countless patients with eye diseases. Laser rangefinders have provided critical data for astronomy by accurately measuring the Earth-Moon distance. But once military forces recognized the immense energy potential of lasers, everything changed. Lasers were transformed into highly destructive weapons. As early as the 1970s, the United States tested laser dazzlers during the Vietnam War. A single blast could temporarily blind ground personnel, facilitating their capture. By 1995, the publicly disclosed Sabre 203 laser grenade launcher could permanently blind targets within a 500-meter range, unleashing the full destructive power of laser technology. What's more, this duality becomes even more pronounced when military technology is transferred to civilian use. Take L3 Harris, an American defense contractor. Their Raytheon signal interception system was originally a high-level military communications surveillance tool, widely deployed in Afghanistan and Iraq to capture mobile data traffic in specific areas and support military operations. Later, however, this technology was repurposed domestically, with law enforcement agencies across multiple regions using it to locate suspects and collect intelligence. Although the company eventually announced plans to phase out this product line, the unchecked infiltration of military-grade technology into civilian life has severely eroded citizens' privacy and freedom of speech. Then there's Palantir's Gotham data analytics platform. Initially developed to predict patterns of enemy improvised explosive devices (IEDs) in the Middle East, it was later rebranded as an intelligent policing tool, integrated into hundreds of local police departments across the U.S. It aggregates and analyzes citizens' location data, social connections, and other personal information. It even won a contract with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) to assist in tracking undocumented individuals. What was once a military asset has become a latent threat to civil liberties, a direct consequence of arbitrarily crossing the boundaries of technological application. By now, It should be clear that technological progress is always a double-edged sword. While it brings convenience and prosperity, it inevitably introduces new risks and challenges. The history of these banned black technologies serves as a stark warning. Technology itself is neither good nor evil. Its impact depends entirely on how humanity guides its development and sets reasonable boundaries for its use. Only by regulating technological advancement within legal and ethical frameworks can we ensure that technology truly serves the progress of human society. Next, we'll delve deeper into the core harms posed by these prohibited technologies. Violations of law and ethics. The core harms of banned black technologies. These forbidden technologies share a common trait. They violate laws and ethics, endangering individual rights, social equity, and even human survival. Their impact has severely disrupted social order and human civilization. In terms of violating individual rights, malicious tools like AI deepfake clothing removal technology have inflicted irreversible harm on victims. A landmark case occurred in Beijing in 2023. Defendant Bai posted advertisements for an AI one-click undressing tool online, transforming over 6,000 images of women provided by clients into nude photos for profit. Of these, 1,500 were deemed obscene materials. Bai was ultimately convicted of profiting from the production and distribution of obscene items and also held civilly liable for infringing on citizens' personal information rights. This case stands as one of China's first publicly reported criminal precedents involving AI deepfake technology. Such incidents are far from isolated. Cybersecurity monitoring reveals extensive distribution networks for AI-generated fake explicit content of celebrities on the dark web. In January 2024, AI created fake nude images of Taylor Swift briefly circulated on platforms like X and Facebook. Despite urgent content removal efforts by the platforms, the incident still damaged the star's reputation, with related topics quickly gaining traction online. Financial security is another target, exemplified by fin detectors. These devices can forcefully activate bank card chips within a range of several tens of centimeters, copying all stored data. To make matters worse, fin detectors are highly concealable. They can be disguised as USB drives, power banks, pens, or other everyday items. Early unencrypted chips are completely defenseless against them. Thieves can steal card information while simply engaging in casual conversation with their targets. The proliferation of these devices has posed a significant threat to financial payment security, prompting financial institutions to strengthen protections by upgrading chip encryption technology and adding transaction verification steps. In terms of undermining social equity, the advent of shark skin swimsuits sent shockwaves through competitive sports. At the 2000 Sydney Olympics, Speedo launched a fast skin swimsuit, designed with microtextures mimicking shark skin to reduce water resistance. The suit helped Australian swimming star Ian Thorpe win multiple gold medals. Then, ahead of the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the upgraded LZR Risa swimsuit was released. Made with polyurethane materials and ultrasonic welding technology, it reduced drag by an additional 10%. Of the 25 new world records set at that Olympics, 23 were broken by athletes wearing the suit. American swimming legend Michael Phelps even claimed 8 gold medals using a custom-made version. Priced at thousands of dollars with an extremely short lifespan, the LZR racer was unaffordable for athletes from economically disadvantaged countries. A Kenyan swimmer once lamented bitterly against opponents wearing these sky-high priced suits. "I'm at a disadvantage before even stepping into the pool." This model of competition where success depends on technological equipment rather than athletic ability completely violates the core spirit of fair play in sports, reducing competitions to a contest of capital and technology rather than talent. when it comes to threatening human survival as a whole. The development and deployment of various superweapons carry catastrophic risks. Weather modification weapons manipulate natural phenomena like earthquakes, to tsunamis and hurricanes to alter battlefield conditions and achieve military objectives. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. launched Operation Ranch Hand, deploying over 26,000 sorties to drop 4 million cloud seeding agents. The operation triggered prolonged heavy rainfall and flooding across Vietnam, destroying roads and bridges, paralyzing supply lines, and severely disrupting the North Vietnamese Army's operations. Beyond its military impact, the campaign devastated local ecosystems and agricultural production, inflicting immeasurable suffering on the Vietnamese people. Autonomous lethal AI weapons transfer partial decision-making power over warfare to machines. Their core risk lies in their reliance on pre-programmed databases for target identification, a flaw that makes them highly prone to misjudgment. In a 2019 technical assessment organized by a United Nations agency, a prototype autonomous recognition system submitted by a country misidentified civilians wearing specific clothing as combatants while failing to detect some armed targets. This rigid, algorithmic decision-making logic risks unleashing indiscriminate massacres. Then there's the cobalt bomb, the ultimate doomsday weapon. A single cobalt bomb could render an entire continent uninhabitable for over a century. Its detonation releases cobalt-60 radioactive dust, which spreads globally via atmospheric circulation. The gamma radiation emitted by cobalt-60 is lethal to all mammals, capable of completely destroying Earth's ecosystem. Ethical red lines in genetic technology, non-negotiable boundaries for humanity. The emergence of gene-edited babies and human cloning technology has directly crossed ethical red lines in genetic research, sparking global controversy and strong opposition. In 2018, He Jianghui, a former associate professor at Southern University of Science and Technology, and his team violated national regulations and medical ethics by using CRISPR gene editing technology to modify the CCR5 gene in human embryos. Their stated goal was to confer resistance to certain strains of HIV. They then implanted the edited embryos into female recipients, resulting into pregnancies and the birth of 3 gene-edited babies. The announcement of this experiment sent shockwaves through the global scientific community. CRISPR technology was originally developed to treat genetic diseases caused by DNA mutations, helping patients overcome life-altering illnesses. However, his team applied it to edit the genes of healthy embryos for reproductive purposes, crossing the fundamental bottom line of academic ethics. From a technical standpoint, the human DNA sequence is extraordinarily complex. A single gene often regulates multiple physiological functions, creating a ripple effect when altered. While the CCR5 gene is known to play a role in HIV resistance, subsequent research has revealed its critical links to human memory and immunity against influenza. This means the edited twin babies may face unknown health risks as they grow, including potential memory impairment and weakened immune systems, risks that could not be accurately predicted through scientific means prior to the experiment. Worse still, genetic modifications to reproductive cells are heritable. The edited genes in these twins will be passed down to their offspring, eventually entering the human gene pool. This poses a latent threat to the genetic diversity and stability of the entire human species, like planting a ticking time bomb in humanity's genetic heritage. The incident triggered widespread condemnation from the global scientific community. Over 100 Chinese scientists jointly issued a statement denouncing the experiment as a mad act with severe bioethical implications and calling for tighter regulatory safeguards. Internationally, David Baltimore, representing the organizing committee of the Second International Summit on Human Genome Editing, released a statement condemning the research and urging the establishment of strict standards for such experiments. The U.S. National Institutes of Health (NIH) also issued a statement describing his actions as a flagrant violation of international ethical norms and deeply disturbing, while reaffirming its opposition to this type of research. Legally, the experiment clearly violated China's ethical guidelines for human embryonic stem cell research, which stipulate that the in vitro culture period of human embryos shall not exceed 14 days from fertilization or nuclear transfer, and that human blastocysts obtained for research purposes shall not be implanted into the reproductive system of humans or any other animals. His team claimed to have obtained ethical review approval, but the relevant hospital denied this, and the application documents were suspected of forgery. In December 2019, the People's Court of Nanshan District, Shenzhen, convicted He Jianghui of illegal medical practice, sentencing him to 3 years in prison and imposing a fine of 3 million yuan. 2 other individuals involved in the case were also held criminally liable. All relevant personnel were added to a blacklist of those who have violated laws and regulations in human reproductive technology, banning them from working in related fields for life. Human cloning technology also faces severe ethical challenges and technical risks. In 1996, the Roslin Institute in Scotland successfully cloned Dolly, the sheep, that first cloned mammal in human history. Dolly shared an identical genetic sequence with the awa that donated the somatic cell. While this achievement represented a breakthrough in cloning technology, it also sparked widespread global fear about the possibility of human cloning. From a technical perspective, cloning technology has numerous unresolved flaws. Although Dolly lived for 6 years, she developed arthritis at an early age and suffered from severe lung disease conditions that led to her euthanasia. Subsequent research revealed that the somatic cell genes of cloned animals undergo wear and tear from multiple cell divisions, resulting in latent defects like premature aging and weakened immunity in cloned organisms. The immaturity of this technology means applying it to humans would carry extreme risks to life. Ethically, human cloning would trigger a host of unsolvable social problems. Would a clone be considered the twin sibling or the offspring of the person who donated the somatic cell? If an individual clones themselves, what kind of social relationship should exist between the original person and their adult clone? These questions would completely upend existing family ethics and social order. Even more alarmingly, if human cloning technology were permitted, it could lead to the mass cloning of elite athletes, scientists, soldiers, and others, creating an unfair, genetically customized society and destroying the foundation of equality on which human civilization rests. Thus, from the moment Dolly the sheep was born, the global community quickly reached a consensus. The United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution explicitly opposing all forms of human cloning, strictly limiting cloning technology to animal research and medical applications, and safeguarding the final line of human ethics. The destructive potential of superweapons. Why global bans are non-negotiable. The catastrophic potential of superweapons like cobalt bombs is the core reason behind global efforts to ban their development. Their destructive power transcends the scope of warfare, directly threatening the survival of human civilization. Referred to by scientists as a doomsday device, the cobalt bomb operates on a fundamentally different principle than traditional nuclear weapons. Conventional atomic bombs and hydrogen bombs rely on shockwaves, high temperatures, and immediate radiation to inflict damage. While immensely powerful, their radiation levels diminish over time. For example, just a few years after the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, radiation levels dropped to safe ranges, allowing the city to be gradually rebuilt. In contrast, a cobalt bomb is constructed by wrapping a hydrogen bomb in a casing of cobalt-59 metal. When the hydrogen bomb detonates, its enormous energy bombards the cobalt-59, converting it into highly radioactive cobalt-60. This isotope emits penetrating gamma radiation and has a half-life of 5.27 years, meaning it takes over 5 years for its radiation intensity to decrease by half. Most devastatingly, if a cobalt bomb is detonated in the stratosphere, the mushroom cloud will disperse massive amounts of cobalt-60 radioactive dust into the upper atmosphere. This dust will then spread to every corner of the globe via global atmospheric circulation. When British scientist Leo Szilard first proposed this concept in 1950, he calculated that a cobalt bomb with a yield equivalent to just 1 ton of TNT, detonated in the stratosphere, would spread cobalt-60 dust worldwide within a year. This would cause humans and large animals across the planet to die from acute radiation sickness within months. Even if a small number of individuals survived, they would develop fatal illnesses like cancer in the years that follow. Meanwhile, soil and water sources would become severely contaminated, a state that would persist for centuries, rendering Earth uninhabitable for human life and agricultural production, and turning the planet into a lifeless wasteland. While no cobalt bomb has ever been built, its theoretical destructive potential alone is sufficient to justify its classification as an absolutely prohibited weapon by countries around the world. Weather modification weapons are equally devastating. These weapons manipulate atmospheric circulation to create extreme weather events and natural disasters, achieving military strike objectives with wide-ranging, covert, and long-lasting effects. As early as World War II, Nazi Germany attempted to create artificial fog during the Battle of Sicily to obscure Allied reconnaissance and slow their advance. The United States also used cloud seeding to generate dense fog during the Battle of the Dnieper, shielding Soviet Red Army forces as they crossed the river. As technology has advanced, the range of weather weapons has expanded. Artificial drought weapons alter atmospheric circulation to trigger prolonged droughts, crippling enemy agriculture and water supply systems. Artificial thunderstorm weapons release charged particles to induce thunderstorms, destroying enemy electronic equipment. Artificial fog weapons create thick mist on battlefields for tactical concealment. The use of these weapons often causes permanent damage to regional ecosystems, which is why the United Nations has explicitly banned their development and deployment. The destructive potential of autonomous lethal AI weapons stems from their risk of losing control and their capacity for indiscriminate attacks. These weapons can independently identify, target, and engage enemies without human intervention. While still, they lack effective kill switches, even if a misjudgment is detected. Humans cannot intervene in time to stop the attack, making indiscriminate massacres a likely outcome. Scientists warn that if two military powers deploy such weapons along their borders, a minor skirmish could prompt AI systems to initiate attacks autonomously before humans can react. This could trigger a chain reaction of retaliation, escalating the conflict into an irreversible war within hours and plunging humanity into catastrophe. For this reason, the United Nations has established clear regulations stating that no weapons system may grant machines the final authority to make lethal decisions mitigating the catastrophic risks posed by these technologies. Technical vulnerabilities and regulatory challenges, barriers to governing banned black technologies. The ongoing harm caused by these prohibited technologies stems primarily from two factors: technical vulnerabilities exploited by criminals, and regulatory lag in the face of rapid technological advancement. The proliferation of fin detectors is rooted in flaws in near-field communication (NFC) technology and early bank card chip design. Mobile payment systems widely used today rely on NFC technology, but some fin detectors can directly mimic post-terminal signals, tricking mobile NFC recognition systems into processing payments without user authorization. Early bank card chips lacked robust encryption protection, allowing fin detectors to forcefully activate chips and copy data from several tens of centimeters, away enabling thieves to steal bank passwords and financial information with ease. Even more concerning, the core chips of fin detectors can be embedded in old mobile phones. When paired with custom software, these modified phones can scan targets, pockets to capture card data and transmit it directly to computers, eliminating the need for decryption and further lowering the barrier to entry for criminals. Regulating laser blinding weapons also presents significant challenges, as these devices exist in a legal gray area between military and civilian use. Industrial laser cutters used for slicing steel plates and laboratory laser rangefinders for scientific research can be easily modified into blinding weapons by adjusting laser focus precision and power output. During the 2014 conflict in eastern Ukraine, armed groups used modified industrial laser pointers to irradiate government soldiers. While low in power, close-range exposure still caused temporary blindness, severely impacting soldiers' combat capabilities and mental states. Notably, in recent years, legitimate applications of laser technology in low-altitude defense have expanded rapidly. For example, a publicly disclosed integrated radar optical laser low-altitude defense system in 2025 can accurately intercept high-speed targets. However, if misused, such high-power laser equipment can be converted into lethal weapons. Modified laser devices are nearly indistinguishable from ordinary industrial equipment in appearance, making them extremely difficult for regulatory authorities to identify. Additionally, injuries caused by laser blinding are highly covert. Symptoms are often indistinguishable from sudden eye diseases, making it hard to accurately determine liability in both battlefield and civilian settings, and further complicating regulatory and accountability efforts. The rapid development of AI deepfake clothing removal technology has also outpaced regulatory frameworks. Furthermore, the distribution channels for these crimes are highly covert. Perpetrators typically use encrypted communication tools, virtual private networks (VPNs), and overseas servers to disseminate fake images, posing immense challenges to law enforcement agencies seeking to gather evidence and track down offenders. Currently, legislation targeting AI deepfake crimes remains lagging on a global scale. In China, the 2023 case remains one of the few publicly reported precedents, and it relied on traditional charges like profiting from the production and distribution of obscene items rather than laws specifically tailored to AI forgery. This legal gap allows many illegal activities to go unpunished. Regulating RFID skimming technology faces similar hurdles. Skimming devices are constantly evolving in their forms of disguise beyond pens. They can be hidden inside power banks, car keys, backpacks, and other everyday items, making them highly deceptive. Perpetrators can exploit crowded environments, like shopping malls and metro stations, to carry out skimming attacks under the cover of crowds, then quickly flee the scene, hampering criminal investigations. Additionally, RFID technology is used across a wide range of industries, with varying encryption standards for different types of cards. Some low-end cards still use low-frequency signals that are easily decrypted, and relevant companies have failed to upgrade encryption technology in a timely manner due to cost constraints, leaving vulnerabilities for criminals to exploit. There is currently no unified global security standard or regulatory framework for RFID technology. Regulatory efforts and technical capabilities vary widely between countries, making it difficult to curb the global spread of RFID skimming tools. These technical vulnerabilities and regulatory challenges mean that governing banned black technologies remains an arduous task, requiring collaborative efforts from countries worldwide to improve technical standards and regulatory systems. Global consensus on bans, the cornerstone of addressing black technology risks. The harms of these black technologies transcend national borders. making effective regulation impossible for any single country acting alone. For this reason, fostering international consensus on bans and establishing collaborative governance mechanisms have become essential to safeguarding global security and the common interests of humanity. The global proliferation of AI deepfake clothing removal technology has made countries acutely aware that unilateral regulation cannot address cross-border cybercrime. Malicious images generated by this technology can spread globally in an instant via the internet, inflicting worldwide reputational damage on victims, while perpetrators may be located in different countries, creating enormous obstacles for cross-border law enforcement. In response, the global community has gradually reached a consensus to strengthen cooperation in combating cybercrime, share intelligence, and jointly crack down on illegal activities involving AI deepfake technology. The European Union's General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) imposes strict safeguards on personal biometric data, providing a legal basis for regulating the misuse of AI deepfake clothing removal technology. Countries around the world have also accelerated the development of relevant legislation, clarifying legal liability for AI deepfake offenses, and forging a unified regulatory front. In the field of genetic technology, a strict global consensus has emerged against germline gene editing and human cloning. In the aftermath of He Jiankhui's gene-edited baby experiment, the international community responded swiftly. Numerous international organizations and scientific institutions issued condemnatory statements, calling for the establishment of unified international ethical standards and regulatory frameworks. China's Ministry of Science and Technology made it clear that clinical germline gene editing for reproductive purposes is explicitly prohibited in China, ordering relevant institutions to suspend the scientific activities of involved personnel and launch legal investigations. The U.S. also reaffirmed its opposition to such research, emphasizing the need for binding international consensus. On the issue of human cloning, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution explicitly opposing all forms of human cloning, and the vast majority of countries worldwide have enacted laws banning human cloning forging, a global consensus to uphold human genetic ethics. The development and proliferation of superweapons have also triggered heightened global vigilance, driving the signing and implementation of a series of international conventions to address laser blinding weapons. The United Nations adopted Protocol 4 to the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons in 1995, which explicitly prohibits the development, production, stockpiling, and use of laser weapons whose sole or primary combat function is to cause permanent blindness. This protocol has been ratified by most countries worldwide, serving as a critical international legal instrument for regulating laser blinding weapons. For autonomous lethal AI weapons, the United Nations has introduced regulations stating that no weapons system may grant machines the final authority to make lethal decisions. Although the United States initially opposed these regulations, it later committed to not developing fully autonomous lethal AI weapons amid global public pressure. The international community has also reached broad consensus on regulating weather modification weapons and ancillary weapons. The United Nations Convention on the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques explicitly bans the use of weather modification technology for military purposes, imposing strict restrictions on the development and deployment of weather weapons. To control nuclear weapons and cobalt bombs weapons of mass destruction, the global community has signed international agreements such as the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons (NPT) and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty (CTBT), establishing oversight bodies like the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) to monitor nuclear activities and prevent the proliferation of nuclear technology and the misuse of nuclear weapons. These global bans and collaborative efforts fully reflect humanity's rational choice in the face of shared technological risks. By establishing international rules and collaborative governance mechanisms, we can effectively regulate banned black technologies and safeguard the survival and progress of human civilization.